into the finals here at the 2019 Kart Race of Champions at Buckmore Park. The first of them is the B final for the heavyweights category. We will see 13 drivers out in this one. The top 5 finishers go onto the back of the grid for the A final, joining the top 13 qualifiers from the heats. Grid forming up out there then. 13 intrepid drivers to do battle over a slightly longer race this time. It will be a 20-minute race. The B final's over 20 minutes. The A final is 25 minutes, so a bit more of a challenge for the drivers to overcome this time. A longer race, see twice as many laps. Number 16, Chris Pengelly, is in pole position alongside 14, Michael Whitaker. On the second row, number 3, Luke Hornsby, and number 1, driven by Stephen King. The third row, 11 of Lee Henderson, and 17, Stephen Williams, the Cov Kart Sport driver. On the fourth row, 15, Ryan Sandel, and 8 of Steve Coatsworth. Fifth row, number 2, driven by James Burling, and number 9 is Vinnie Young. Sixth row, Justin Elliott on number 10, and number 18, which is Buzz Newman. At the bottom of the qualifying table, Thomas Dowling drives kart number 13. So we're in position then, ready for a start. This will be a 20-minute race. Only 5 drivers will go through onto the back of the grid for the A final. The chance to be Kart Race of Champions heavyweights category champion this year. Marshall walks away. We're about to get the green light. Away they go. The 16, Chris Pengelly, in the green and white suit on pole position, will lead them down towards the first corner. Second, number 14 of Michael Whitaker. Number 1 making a good start there. That's Stephen King in the purple crash helmet. Side by side, it's the hairpin. He goes second, chased by 14 and number 3 of Luke Hornsby. 17 of Stephen Williams up behind them as well. Luke Hornsby at the inside takes third place away. Tries to from Michael Whitaker, who hasn't made the best of starts here from the front row, down to 4th place already. And the threatening skies here at Buckmore Park, it has to be said. Chris Pengelly has made the break, running very wide there. Number 3 of Luke Hornsby seems to think he was pushed, his hand was in the air there, and he's lost a place to Stephen Williams. Also running wide, number 15, Ryan Sandel, in the blue and black kart suit there. Over the line to complete the first lap then. Warning the track limits for number 14 of Michael Whitaker. Yes, he ran wide coming out of hairpin 2 on that first lap. Midfield streaks its way through. There is Whitaker on the 14, just ahead of Luke Hornsby in the red, white and blue, chased by the 17 of Stephen Williams. Chris Pengelly already with a clear lead in kart number 16. The 1 in second place is Stephen King. Way down towards Paddock Bend once again. Track dry at the moment, but it looks like it is threatening rain here in Kent. Pengelly goes through with the lead. Here comes the 17 at the inside. Stephen Williams about to take the place from number 3 of Luke Hornsby. He goes through up into 4th place, and a whole phalanx of karts behind them, headed by Steve Coatsworth on the number 8. Towards the end of the lap, 15 and 8. Get the warning flag there. Steve Coatsworth and Ryan Sandel possibly for a bit of contact. There is Coatsworth. They're split now, those two, by Lee Henderson with the black crash helmet there, number 11. Oh, and contact there, and round goes Lee Henderson. Contact with Steve Coatsworth and with the number 2 as well of James Burling was involved there. Ryan Sandel escaped that. It was Henderson who went around. He'll rejoin at the back of the field. I haven't seen many spinners today, a very high standard of driving. Well, you'd expect it from, whoops, and round goes the 14. Oh dear, a tangle there. 14 of Michael Whitaker spins and takes out Luke Hornsby, not intentionally of course. He spun out there, went backwards into Hornsby. That must have been a bit of a scare for the man in number 3. Well, that's shaken the order up a bit at the front of the field, certainly. There's number 10 all over the place. That's Justin Elliott. Moves out to number 17 of Stephen Williams. They're slipping and sliding all over the place. I think there is some rain coming down out there. 15, that is Ryan Sandel, has made his way through this battle. You can see how much they've slowed up as the track becomes damp here. Still Chris Pengelly's got the lead. They are struggling here as the conditions change. 1 and 17 together into the hairpin there. Stephen King and the 17 of Stephen Williams. Behind them, Ryan Sandel. Williams goes ahead. Slip and slide here at Buckmore Park. Oh, there's more bumping and boring, and round goes Ryan Sandel. A long, graceful spin. Stephen Williams bounced off him there. And the number 9 just missed him there. Vinnie Young nearly head on into Ryan Sandel. It is getting very, very tricky out there. Sandel rejoins okay, but the conditions very difficult. Now you can see the rain coming down. Great shame that it arrived just in time for the finals. Yeah. In a battle for survival out there now over the next 18 minutes or so. 14 of Michael Whittaker dropped back. We're seeing, oh, this Kart spinning everywhere. That's the 13 that's gone of Thomas Dowling. Number 9 of Vinnie Young's gone as well, facing the wrong way. It's like driving on ice out there at the moment. A contact warning goes out to Stephen King on the number 1 kart. The only driver that seems to be coping with this okay is Chris Pengelly on the number 16. He's built up a considerable lead. Steve Coatsworth there in kart number 8, still pressing on. The other one spun there, that's the number 18, I think. No, the number 10, sorry, of Justin Elliott that's gone. Okay. Trying to establish the race order. A little confusing contest, this one. Ryan Sandel making his way back up the order after that earlier spin. Sliding there, the number 2 of James Burling. It's an absolute lottery at the moment. Burling gets tagged by Buzz Newman in the number 18. Chris Pengelly is still leading the way. They're trying to battle their way back up the order in this one. Established a huge lead here as everybody else slips and slides behind him. Number 13, kart Thomas Dowling, has been shown the black flag. See him pull into the pits, a misdemeanour of some sort. Luke Hornsby on the attack. He's on the back of number 11 of Lee Henderson. Whittaker up ahead, staying ahead of Ryan Sandel. There's so many karts that have spun out there. The order hasn't actually changed massively. Looks like the rain is now easing off again, so the track should dry out again. The drivers get used to the conditions. Pengelly still with his clear lead, going off onto the edge of the track there, the 11 of Lee Henderson. He nearly takes out Luke Hornsby as he comes back on. That's the second time they've clashed in this race, I think. Still sliding out, still damp out there in this B final for the heavyweight category. Black flag being shown now to number 14 of Michael Whittaker. Going to kibosh his hopes of qualifying for the A final. Like it has for Thomas Dowling. It's a shame the rain had to arrive in time for the finals and has spoiled what was promising to be a very exciting race here. Ryan Sandel sideways there around the hairpin. Kart racing in the wet, a notoriously difficult sport. Drivers using every ounce of their skill and guile to keep these cars pointing the right way. Whittaker being shown the black flag, so he'll have to pull in as soon as possible. Drizzle continues to fall here at Buckmore Park, the heart of British karting. Ryan Sandel, number 15. Whittaker continues on. Pengelly is still your leader. We've hardly seen him. He's just cleared away in front. A dominant drive. Everybody else left battling away for those 5 qualifying places in his wake. Here's the number 1 of Stephen King. Pengelly continues to dominate here at Buckmore Park. Number 14 being signalled, he has a black flag. He's racing on, chasing down Stephen King, the number 1. Pengelly leading it by a clear margin. Battle there in the background, that's Justin Elliott and Lee Henderson battling it out a little further back in the order. As Ryan Sandor closes down Michael Whittaker. Sandor recovering well after spinning earlier on. He makes a move on Whittaker up towards the Garda corner. He goes through. His target is Stephen King on the number 1 kart. He's out frantically for those qualifying places. 14 being ordered to come into the pits now, behind Luke Hornsby and James Burling. For the minor placings at the moment, they do still stand a chance of qualifying. Around the hairpin section they go. Stephen King holds them off. Sandel, Whittaker, we know his demise is inevitable. Then Luke Hornsby and the 2 of James Burling. The inside Sandel will make up another place. Try and chase down our lead. Pengeli continues to dominate on kart number 16. He seems to be the only driver not affected by the changing weather. The pits now does come Michael Whittaker as Stephen King fights back on the inside of Ryan Sandel, retakes the place. Around the hairpin section they go. Raced by Luke Hornsby. There is Michael Whittaker making his pit call. And where's he going to rejoin? Just behind Buzz Newman on kart number 18. Whittaker well down the field now towards the rear of this 13 kart pack. In his chance of qualifying, these 2 still within a chance. King, Sandel have been caught by Hornsby and by the number 2 of James Burling now, fighting for the last qualifying places in that all-important top 5. Sandel attacks now into Conway's and Henry's Bend. They get through there. The outside into the hairpin, trying to set himself up for the second hairpin there, I think. Again, King is wise to him. They make their way out of the hairpin section. About halfway through this race, I think, now. Dell attacks again. Down into Paddock Bend. He knows that Hornsby is there behind him, and the number 2 of James Burling. The inside King up onto the curb there. That sends Sandel out very wide. He's not happy there, Ryan Sandel. Raced now by the number 2, James Burling's got ahead of the 3 of Luke Hornsby. There, a bit of needle creeping into this, and the black flag has been shown to number 1 of Stephen King. Presumably for some contact. He's got behind this group now. Sandel back up the inside, retakes Luke Hornsby. In there, James Burling in kart number 2. Lifting a wheel there, Ryan Sandel through the hairpin. Towards Paddock Bend they go once again. Great fight going on here. For the minor placings, they're not going to catch Chris Pengeli. Say he's got this race just about won already. Totally dominant driving, hardly seen him all race long except at the start. Now into the pits goes Steve King, the number 1. That's the end of his challenge. Steve Williams is in second place. This is the fight for third now between Sandel, Hornsby and the number 2 of James Burling. Pengeli and Stephen Williams clear at the front of the field. I think the only 2 who weren't caught up in spins earlier on. Such a shame the rain had to throw so much confusion and chaos into this race, which things have now improved again. Typical English weather. In this battle is Steve Coatsworth. Burling pushing Luke Hornsby now as they go up towards the end of the lap. Determined to get back ahead of the man in the red, white, blue, the almost Union flag colours there. Hornsby representing Club 100, James Burling GPOL. Side by side as they come into the hairpin section. Hornsby holds the place in this B final for the heavyweights category. Focus now, the battle for 4th and 5th position, I think this is. Garda, there you go. Ryan Sandel escapes ahead of them on the 15 kart. Towards the closing stages now of this B final. Only the top 5 go through. Elliott's behind them. To the outside is the number 2. Hornsby again holds him off. Goes deep into the hairpin there to set himself up for the next one. Chris Pengelly is heading for victory, and there's a bit of contact there between the 3 and the 2. The leader is Pengelly ahead of Williams. Coachworth is on for a qualifying place, then we've got Ryan Sandel and then these two, so this is the scrap for the final qualifying place here between Hornsby and Burling. Burling trying to find position to make a move. He clips the back of Hornsby again there as they go over the line. They're side by side now into the first sequence of corners. Very interesting finish between these two, I would think, here. Inside goes Burling on the first hairpin. They've rubbed bumpers a few times. Hornsby holds him off. Stands up behind them now. The kart catching them there as Burling makes a move to the inside. No, he doesn't. The door is closed as they head down towards paddock. The number 10 of Justin Elliott chasing them down. Now they get into that top 5. The battle for the final qualifying place at the moment between 3 and 2, 4th and 5th. Pengelly, Williams, Coachworth and Sandel up ahead of them. They're side by side again over the line this time. Place in the A final at stake between 3 of them now. Justin Elliott on the inside, Burling on the outside and the number 2, and Elliott goes through on the hairpin. 3 of Hornsby is his next target for 5th position. Burling up the inside, throws it down the inside there, nearly clips Luke Hornsby again. Fair bit of needle in this fight now in the closing stages for the last qualifying place. Burling tries again, heading down towards paddock bend. I don't think he'll get through there. He does not. Hornsby holds him off again. Looking for him there. It's there. Here comes Justin Elliott up the inside. He's going to take the place from James Burling now. Terrific fights here. The 4 ahead, Pengelly, Williams, Coachworth and Sandel. They look safe in their qualifying places. But who's going to get the last place in 5th? Hornsby, Elliott, or the number 2 of James Burling. Hornsby to the inside, retakes the place. Burling up the inside on the hairpin. Hornsby holds on. Elliott retakes it now for 6th position. Frantic stuff in this heavyweight B final. Who's going to get the last qualifying place on the very back of the grid for the 18 kart 25-minute A final? Pushing, shoving there, millimetres apart on the turn. Justin Elliott to the inside now. Luke Hornsby up the inside. Oh, and Elliott's left the gap there. Burling goes back ahead. Elliott back down the hill. He retakes the place now. Hard to keep up with this in the frantic closing stages of this race. Up over the line once again. It's Hornsby still ahead. Bumping and boring. Not quite shoving each other though. You don't want to set any penalties. Burling goes to the outside, trying to set himself up possibly for the second of the 2 hairpins as Luke Hornsby still holds the place. Round the second hairpin they go. Ahead of all this, Chris Pengelly is heading towards victory from pole position. Here comes Justin Elliott. He wants that last qualifying place desperately here in the blue suit. The number 10 kart down into the right-hander. Is the Rugby Kart Club driver going to get through on the run into Garda? No, he's not. Luke Hornsby, the Club 100 driver, holds him off. James Burling now fights his way up alongside Justin Elliott. They're absolutely together as they head up over the line once again. Elliott holds the place, thrilling the onlookers here at Buckmore Park. This is just the B final. What's the A final going to be like later on? Again, Burling goes to the outside towards the hairpin. Is he going to get the cut back this time on the second hairpin? He's up the inside of Justin Elliott. This time he's got it right. James Burling, he goes through, takes sixth position now to challenge Luke Hornsby for that final qualifying place. James Burling looks fired up here on kart number 2. Down towards Paddock Bend they come. There's not long to go in this race now. On the inside of Paddock Bend, the run into Garda seems to be the overtaking spot today. Up the inside comes Burling. They're side by side. They bounce off each other. Is Hornsby holding? It's 3 wide as they come down towards the penultimate corner. Hornsby again holds the place. Always seems to have his nose in front in this battle. Terrific racing between these three. Less than a minute left on the clock now. Hornsby holds 5th position. Ahead of them, Pengelly, Williams, Sandal and Coatsworth are going to get the other qualifying places. One to sort out who's it going to go to. James Burling up the inside. Elliott's gone wide on hairpin 2. James Burling tries for the inside. Now he's all over the back of the number 3 kart. It's almost an 8-wheeled kart there as they head down towards Paddock Bend once again. Not quite get the line away. James Burling on kart number 2. The GPOL driver. Hornsby holds him off up to the inside of Garda. There's contact between the two of them. Burling up the inside. Has he got the place? Yes, he has. There was contact there though. What was that all about, says Luke Hornsby. He's not happy. He points at James Burling as they head over the line to start their final lap. An angry Luke Hornsby bumped out of the top 5. He felt there was contact there as they went into Garda. He felt he was pushed aside by James Burling. Burling's into the top 5 in this B final and into a qualifying place. Meanwhile, Chris Pengelly, well ahead of this lot, is going to win it on kart number 16. He's well clear of Stephen Williams. We've concentrated on this battle in the B final for the final qualifying place. It's not over yet. Justin Elliott up the outside into Paddock Bend. That's not going to work. They both run wide. Goodness me, I thought Elliott was going to go into the barriers there. He went in so quickly. Absolutely frantic. Meanwhile, the checkered flag has gone out for Chris Pengelly. He takes the win in our B final ahead of Stephen Williams. Confirm the full results in a moment. James Burling comes over in 5th place in a battle that threatened to turn a bit ugly a couple of times there late on. Stephen Williams second. Ryan Sandal catching and passing Steve Coatsworth in the closing stages there for 3rd place. James Burling rounds out the top 5. Looks like they're the 5 that are going to go through to our A final for the heavyweights category at this Kart Race of Champions UK. Congratulations to Chris Pengelly representing DJ Motorsports, who takes the win. I can tell you James Burling was penalised 3 places for multiple incidents of contact. He drops to 8th place. Luke Hornsby gets in along with Steve Coatsworth, Ryan Sandal, Stephen Williams and Chris Pengelly. Stephen King didn't rejoin after his black flag, so James Burling was penalised. Luke Hornsby gets a reprieve and he joins the 5 qualifiers for the A5.